At one point near 6, and I believe on the phone at 6:09, I'm going around the top curved roadway to start the descent down. I'd gotten down, looked into the tile, didn't see Summer. So, cross over, and I start into a spot that's kind of clear, and head towards the creek, because I think, well, maybe brothers have left her behind, or she's fallen off the top of the hill, she's gotten hurt, or, the usual things, right? And we need to find her, if that's the case. Because in my head, I'm like, well, it's been a while since I've heard this scream, this noise. If she's hurt, she's been here a while. So, I'm wearing sandals, and I know the best thing I can do is get into the water. So I step into the creek. Because from there I can keep tracks down. Because when you live in areas like ours, worst case scenario. You also know what happens if somebody can't be found. And you know that staying in the water keeps scent down for dogs.
Do you know what just don't sit right with me? And that is, when you look back at videos of Jodie Sue Brown from prior to the Summer Wells case kind of exploding and migrating into this kind of online drama, it's clear that there wasn't really any real love between them. It seemed that there was some huge rifts, and these rifts, as we've kind of touched on, were surrounding I think it was like a lot of these people in this holler kind of didn't like the Wells family being there. It's almost that, you're outsiders, you're bringing crap hair that is bringing attention to us, and you've got no real entitlement to be here. And it's kind of like how Don came across being there in the first place. Ultimately, his mum acquired the land through marriage. That land was left to him after his mum passed. It spent a little bit of time with somebody else. It was Clyda Trent. She held on to that land with the instruction to pass it on to Don in the event of Don's mum's death, and that's how he got it. But this was not something that was accepted by the people around there, because it seems that these are like real close-knit communities where they don't want outsiders. They don't want people coming into this place that upsets that balance and brings an unwanted attention. Let's just say that. So then we listen to that at the beginning, and there's little things that don't ring true, because I think from what we know of Summer, it would appear that Summer was a little girl who would wander off. She would indeed wander off, and anybody who says any different, they're fucking lying. I've got children, you guys, a lot of you have got children, and you guys know that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, hell, we've got a 13-year-old who, if you need to know where she is, you've got to keep a leash on her. I'm not saying, before anybody starts whinging,
oh my god, he puts his children in dog collars and leashes.
No, I don't. It's figure of speech. But look, children they'll do what they want. They'll wander off where they want. And you've got to be able to accept that someone would wander off. But would she wander off into danger? This is the thing, and we can go and mull over different scenarios of what happened in this case. We've talked about trafficking. We've talked about all these kind of nefarious things. An accident that happened on the premises, which it's real popular for people to think that. But there is an alternative. There is an alternative, and that is that, look, what if these people were genuinely classed as outsiders and the people around them just didn't want them there? It didn't want them there. And who was there before they were there? Who would potentially have a problem? Now, you've got to look at places like the church. The church has been there from before the Wells family was there. So you could bet your bollocks to a barn dance, the people within this church knew the other people way before they knew the Wells family. Now, did they feel the same about the Wells family as the rest of these people? Are you with me so far? And then you've got this Jodie Sue, aka Rambo, who on one hand, she's so ill she can't move and the children have got to help her, and, you know, she just can't move. But, little girl screams, animalistic scream, or a muffled scream. We're not 100% sure. We've touched on this. But let's just say, from her own words, it's an animalistic scream. She leaps into action. Well, no, she doesn't leap into action when she hears the animalistic scream. She doesn't do it just then. She waits. She waits a little while, or by her own words at the beginning, she waits actually a fairly long period of time because she's worried that Summer could be hurt, and she's been there a while, you know, again, her own words. So, and then she busts some moves and starts going on the hunt. And you hear these things that she says, you know, like worst case scenario, because we know, like they've experienced all this before. Do you know what I mean? They know how to handle it because they've seemingly got first-hand experience of how to handle this exact situation. So how many friggin' children have gone missing around here? How many times have they had to do the things that you've heard Jodie Sue doing? Or hold on, or maybe she's just watched lots of holler cop programs that tells you how to do it. Or you get a handbook, and the handbook explains what to do in the event of a child in the holler vanishing off the face of the planet, kind of partway through a land dispute and whether they should really be there. You've got to make your mind up, but, you know, at the end of the day, a little girl's gone missing. We're a long way down the track, and it seems that all of the people who have been in this area the longest don't seem to know anything, but they have a hell of a lot to say. And they have a hell of a lot to say about nothing. It's like the Jackie Dobbs situation. He was another person who got caught up in a land dispute. And early on, Jodie Sue had said that Jackie Dobbs was low down on her list of people who could potentially been involved. And even that doesn't ring true to me, because what Jodie Sue is going against there is the whole kind of premise of being in a holler, where what goes on in the holler stays in the holler, but then she's turning around and saying she's got a list of suspects. Well, who's your list of suspects? Because most of the people who are, or you could make a list out of, would be people who you associate with. They would be your associates. Probably people who you've done business deals with, who you've done other nefarious stuff with. So what do you actually mean when you say you've got a list of people? But this Jackie Dobbs, so early on you say he's at the bottom end of your list of people involved. But now Jackie starts putting his head up with a potential to come out and give his side of the story, because he's been poked and poked and poked and poked to the point where he's gone, fuck this, I'm coming out then. And now all of a sudden, you're poking the bear. And you're now starting to say the shit that you're saying, like on here. You know, all about the church, and you just bring the church up again. Green eyes and stuff like that. This is just an absolute soap opera. But at the middle of every soap opera, there are key components to it. There are antagonists, and you seem to be an antagonist. Now, whether you're doing it purposefully or you're doing it accidentally, you are an antagonist in this story. So you've either got to back the fuck up and leave it alone, or understand that the more you say, the more you do, the more you trip yourself up. You cannot erase the stuff that was on social media now, because it's already been got, it's already been grabbed, it's already been recorded, it's already been found. And it doesn't paint a great picture. Doesn't. And that's not just me being an arsehole. You know what I mean? There'll be all of your fans going,
Well, he's a prick. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's talking a load of shit. Don't worry, Jodie Sue, you've done nothing wrong.
look at the videos and tell me how that stuff doesn't look incriminating. Because it does. Because ultimately, you've got a family who was in a holler, who the people surrounding them didn't think they should be there. There was issues surrounding that. There was obviously threats being made and insinuations being made that we've heard of. And then all of a sudden, a little girl who was prone for wandering off vanishes off the face of the planet. And we've kind of come to the conclusion that no outsider would have dared do that. So if she was indeed taken, perhaps by an opportunist who knew that there would be an opportunity to do so, that would have had to have been someone from around this. This is what I'm thinking. For Summer to have been taken, it would have had to have been someone who knew that there would be an opportunity to, and they knew what they were doing. Give me your list down below. Hit me up down below and play. Jodie, you even do it. You hit me up down below and give me a list of people who would have the bollocks to do what we're trying to insinuate was done. Because some either had an accident on the property, which I am beginning to feel that would not be possible. I don't know whether that would be possible. I'm telling you now. Something just doesn't ring true. And that's because you keep rabbiting on. And the more you talk, the more you kind of cancel out what could have happened. Because if someone would have had an accident on that premises, you're talking about a situation where someone would have had to have got home, got into a situation where she had an accident, then we've got Candace to flap around and panic and whatever she does, ring Don, Don's got to leave work, get home, get Summer, sort out whatever's got to be done, get back to work or whatever, then formulate this. And that time frame, time flies, it drifts away from you. And you've got to have everything down to a T of what you're doing, and then you've got to be able to remedy the loose ends of that later on. And has there been time? Is there time to do it? And all along, when you've got all these motherfuckers around you who are going to bounce you under the bus at the first opportunity they get, because they ain't helping you, unless all of the shit before, all of this hatred and all of these hassles were lies, and you are all helping one another. And I don't see that either. You are pushing it, Jodie Sue, and that is that what once looked like this family doing something to their child and covering it up or whatever is slowly looking very much like this was a bunch of people who didn't want them there, didn't want anything to do with them, and they did something. And again, maybe I'm pissing into the wind again. I do a lot of that. I'm covered in piss. I'll see you in the next one.